Hello, I'm Caede, your guide. It rains a lot in Kanazawa, but how is the weather today? Now we're in Nagamachi Bukeyashiki, an area where middle to high-class samurai used to live during the Edo period. It is a beautiful place with its old-fashioned mud walls and stone-paved pathways. The atmosphere of the old castle town remains, with high walls to keep enemies out and winding back streets. First of all, let's talk about this eye-catching irrigation canal. It is so large that it is almost as wide as a road. Of course, it was used for water for daily life and fire prevention. But it was also used to transport lumber for building the castle and to irrigate the gardens of each mansion. In winter, komogake or straw covering on the mud walls to protect them from snow and freezing can be seen. This is another winter tradition unique to this district. Today, the houses are occupied by ordinary people, and the walls are too high to see inside. But the home of the Nomura family, the warriors who serve the Maida clan, is open to the public, so go see it. The Nomura family served the Maida clan, who ruled this area as their retainers from 1583 to 1871, when the Maida clan came to Kanazawa. Of course, because they were retainers, they were paid by the clan they served. Here's a little commentary on the financial situation of the samurai of the Edo period. At that time, the unit of koku was used to indicate the size of each family's property and power. Today, of course, we have a monetary system called yen, but since it did not exist at that time, the area of fields and residences owned was converted into the amount of rice produced and expressed in koku. In terms of weight, one koku was considered to be the amount of rice one adult male would eat in a year, which was approximately 150 kilograms. Rice is the staple food of Japan, so it is important for survival. And in those days, taxes were also paid with rice. The wealthiest family in the Edo period was, of course, the Tokugawa family, which is said to have had 8 million koku. The Maeda family, which ruled the Kanazawa area, was the second most powerful family after the Tokugawas, with 1 million koku. It is difficult to calculate the current value of this amount, as there are many theories. But even if we assume that 1 koku equals approximately 100,000 yen, it is still quite a large amount. The koku, of course, represented the wealth of the family, but it also said something about how many soldiers the family could support, as the unit of measure was rice. For every 10,000 koku a family owned, there was an obligation to mobilize an army of about 200 men. Therefore, the amount of resources that left the area may have been large, even though the Maeda family had 1 million koku. Now, this Nomura family had a house of 1,200 koku. It seems that they had quite a high position among the samurai. Back then, this mansion was at least a whopping 3,300 square meters large. Unfortunately, after the Nomura family left, the buildings were torn down, but part of the Edo period mansion has been spared and relocated and is now open to the public. The garden is still as stunning as it was in those days, so you can see the wonderful lifestyle of the high-ranking samurai of those days. Let's take off our shoes, pay the admission fee, and go inside. As soon as you enter, you are greeted by a magnificent piece of armor. This armor was actually worn by the first head of the Nomura family in the Battle of 1584. He was rewarded by the Maeda family for his distinguished service in that battle. Amazing that he really wore such a heavy-looking item to battle, don't you think? But if you look closely, you will see that Japanese armor was actually lighter than Western armor because it used more string and wood and weighed about 20 to 40 kilograms. That is still quite heavy. The first room you enter is the antechamber, the inner room. What I'd like to draw your attention to here is the Ramma at the top. It is designed to let the air and the light pass from room to room, and it is decorated with very beautiful carvings. And note this metal fitting that hides a nail. They were truly pursuing beauty in these details, weren't they? As you proceed, you will see a small courtyard on your left. The stones in between the signboards seem to be stones that were quarried for the construction of Kanazawa Castle and left on the mountain. If you look closely, you can see the mark of the person who quarried the stone. The stones that were quarried but not used were forbidden to be used by the general public, but the Nomura family, as expected, was allowed to use them. Then there is the Nomura family's main residence, the audience room and the upper room. This room was moved by the subsequent occupants after the Nomura family left here. The room actually hosted the lord of the Maeda family in 1843. So, the fusuma and the painting are especially beautiful, and the workmanship of the pools used on the fusuma is spectacular. The wood that was used is also highly prestigious, such as Japanese cypress. One step higher is the upper room, where the high-ranking feudal lord would sit. There is a picture of this fusuma when it is closed, but it looks like a museum. The garden is the best thing you can see from here. It is not that big, but they have created a beautiful pond by drawing in the water of the Onosho that flows outside. There are also a lot of carp swimming around. The red bayberry that are said to be 400 years old, lanterns, and other elements are well balanced in the garden. Before you go up to the tea room, look to your left. There is a cage for Japanese bush warblers. It is said that people used to enjoy listening to chirping of the bush warblers trapped in here. I wonder if this was a substitute for background music that was not easily played like now. I feel a little sorry for the birds though. Up the stairs is a tea ceremony room. It is a room where guests are entertained while drinking green tea and some Japanese sweets. Even today, visitors can enjoy a bowl of matcha while looking out over the garden. The last room in the sequence that can be seen is the Onigawa Bunko. Originally a storehouse, it is now a room that displays the arms, plates, and works of art that belongs to the Nomura family. After seeing the Nomura family's home, be sure to take a stroll down the alley. You will see a townscape that is hard to find anywhere else.